The wind howled through the pines, rattling the cracked windows of the old pickup as Ethan Caldwell navigated the snow-dusted backroads. His calloused hands gripped the wheel, knuckles pale, while the heater sputtered, barely keeping the chill at bay. In the passenger seat, his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, hummed softly, her breath fogging the glass as she traced shapes with her finger. Ethan stole a glance at her, bundled in a too-small coat, her cheeks rosy but her eyes bright. She was his anchor, the reason he kept pushing through days that felt like they were stitched together with nothing but grit and prayer. He was 34, but the lines etched into his face made him look older. Life hadn't been kind. 3 years ago, his wife, Sarah, walked out, leaving him with a toddler, a stack of bills, and a heart he wasn't sure would ever mend. He'd been a carpenter once, proud of the homes he built, the cabinets he carved with care. But the divorce drained him, and the odd jobs he scraped together in their small Vermont town barely covered rent on their one-bedroom apartment. The cabin job had come out of nowhere, a voicemail left late at night, offering good money to fix up a dilapidated property deep in the Green Mountains. The voice was curt, professional, no name given. Just an address and a promise of cash upon completion. Ethan didn't ask questions. He couldn't afford to. The truck lurched over a rut, and Lily giggled, clutching her stuffed rabbit, Mr. Whiskers. "Are we there yet, Daddy?" she asked, her voice a melody that softened the edges of his exhaustion. "Almost, Bug," he said, forcing a smile. The truth was, he wasn't sure. The GPS had lost signal 10 miles back, and he was navigating by a scribbled note taped to the dashboard. The road narrowed, flanked by towering trees, their branches heavy with snow. Finally, a clearing emerged, and there it was, a cabin that looked like it had been forgotten by time. Sagging roof, peeling paint, windows boarded or broken. Ethan's stomach sank. This wasn't a quick fix. This was weeks of work, maybe months. But the money. God, he needed it. Lily's school shoes were held together with duct tape, and the electric bill was 2 months overdue. He parked, and they stepped out into the biting air. Lily tugged her coat tighter, her blonde curls bouncing as she hopped toward the cabin. "It's like a fairy tale house," she said, oblivious to the decay. Ethan envied her ability to see magic where he saw only labor. He grabbed his toolbox from the truck bed, the weight familiar in his hands, and approached the door. A note was pinned to it, written in neat, blocky handwriting, asterisk keys under mat. "Start with roof and windows. Payment in cash when done. Leave questions for last. Asterisk no signature." Ethan frowned. Odd, but not unheard of. He'd worked for reclusive types before, folks who preferred notes to handshakes. He found the keys, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. The air was musty, thick with the scent of damp wood and neglect. The interior was sparse, a stone fireplace, a rickety table, a few chairs that looked like they'd collapse under a strong breeze. Lily darted past him, exploring with the fearlessness of a child. "Can we live here, Daddy?" "It's so cool." He chuckled, but his mind was already tallying the work. The roof was priority. Leaks would ruin everything else. The windows needed new frames, the floors sanding, the walls patching. His hands itched to start, to bring order to the chaos. It was what he loved about carpentry, the act of making something whole again, even if his own life felt like it was splintering. They spent the first day assessing. Ethan pried off boards, measured beams, and made a list of supplies. Lily helped by stacking scraps of wood and asking endless questions. "Why's the roof saggy? Who lived here? Are there ghosts?" He answered patiently, grateful for her chatter. It kept the loneliness at bay. That night, they camped in the truck, wrapped in blankets, Lily asleep against his shoulder. He stared at the stars through the windshield, wondering who'd hired him. The secrecy nagged at him, but the promise of cash kept his doubts quiet. Days turned into weeks. Ethan worked sunrise to sunset, hauling lumber, hammering nails, sealing leaks. The cabin began to transform slowly, stubbornly. He'd drive to town for supplies, Lily in tow, her chatter filling the silence. The locals at the hardware store were friendly but tight-lipped when he mentioned the cabin. "Old place up on Blackthorn Ridge," one clerk said, scratching his beard. "Been empty forever. Surprised anyone's touching it." Ethan pressed for details, but the clerk just shrugged. Folks keep to themselves up there. The work was grueling, but it felt good. Ethan's hands remembered their purpose, and the cabin started to look like a home. Lily dubbed it the castle, and he didn't correct her. She deserved a dream. He'd catch her drawing in the dirt with a stick, or leaving little piles of pine cones as presents for the mystery owner. "Maybe it's a prince," she said one day, her eyes sparkling. Ethan laughed, but a part of him wondered, who was this client? And why this cabin, abandoned for decades? One evening, as Ethan sanded a window frame, he found something carved into the wood. E+S, 1985. His breath caught. His initials and Sarah's. A coincidence, surely. They'd never been here. But the carving felt personal, like a ghost reaching out. He ran his fingers over it, his chest tight. Lily noticed and tugged his sleeve. "What's wrong, Daddy?" "Nothing, Bug," he lied, smoothing her hair. "Just old with telling stories." But the carving stayed with him, a splinter in his mind. That night, he dreamed of Sarah, her laugh, her warmth, the way she'd hum while cooking. He woke with an ache he thought he buried. Weeks passed, and the cabin took shape. The roof was solid, the windows gleamed, the floors shone. Ethan's pride grew, but so did his curiosity. The client never showed, never called. Just another note one day, slipped under the door. Asterisk, keep going. You're doing good work. Asterisk, the handwriting was the same, precise and impersonal. Ethan pocketed it, frustrated. He wanted a face, a name, something to anchor this job to reality. Then, one frosty morning, as he was fitting a new door, a car pulled up, a sleek black SUV, out of place in the rugged landscape. Ethan tensed, wiping sweat from his brow. A man stepped out, older, maybe 60, with gray hair and a tailored coat. His face was stern but not unkind, like a teacher who expected results. Lily, playing nearby, froze, clutching Mr. Whiskers. "You Ethan Caldwell?" the man asked, his voice low, familiar from the voicemail. "Yeah," Ethan said, setting down his tools. "You the one who hired me?" The man nodded. "Name's Richard Holt. Walk with me." Ethan hesitated, glancing at Lily. She was watching, curious but safe. He followed Holt around the cabin, the older man inspecting the work with a critical eye. "You've done well," Holt said finally. "Better than I expected." "Thanks," Ethan said, wary. "Mind telling me why you picked me? And why this place?" Holt's expression softened, just a fraction. "You don't remember me, do you?" Ethan frowned. "Should I?" Holt reached into his coat and pulled out a photograph, yellowed with age. He handed it to Ethan. It showed a young couple, laughing, standing in front of the cabin, decades younger, but unmistakably the same place. The man in the photo had Ethan's jawline, his eyes. The woman was Sarah. Ethan's heart stopped. "What is this?" Holt sighed. "That's you and your wife, summer of '85. You were just kids, barely married. Rented this place for a weekend. You carved your initials in the window frame, said you'd buy it someday, fix it up." Ethan's knees buckled. He remembered that weekend, their first getaway, full of dreams and promises. But how did Holt know? "Who are you?" he demanded, voice shaking. "I bought this cabin years ago," Holt said. "Rented it out to folks like you. After you left, others came and went, but the place fell apart. I let it. Didn't see the point in fixing it. Then I heard about you, broke, raising a kid alone. I remembered you, Ethan. The way you talked about this place, like it was your future." Ethan's throat tightened. You tracked me down?" Holt nodded. "Took some doing. I'm not sentimental, but I believe in second chances. You needed work, and this place needed you. Seemed right." Ethan stared at the photo, his vision blurring. All this time, he'd been fixing a piece of his own past. The carving, the memories, it wasn't chance. It was a gift, wrapped in secrecy. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. "Didn't want you to overthink it," Holt said. "You're stubborn. Figured you'd work harder if you didn't know." Ethan laughed, a raw, broken sound. "You're not wrong." He looked at the cabin, seeing it anew, not just wood and nails, but a bridge to a time when he believed in forever. He thought of Lily, her pinecone gifts, her hope. This place could be theirs, maybe. A home. Holt pulled an envelope from his pocket, thick with cash. "Payment, as promised. And one more thing." He handed Ethan a document. "A deed. It's yours if you want it. I'm too old to care about it anymore. You make it live again." Ethan's hands trembled as he took the deed. Words failed him. He looked at Lily, now running toward them, her laughter cutting through the cold. "Daddy, who's this?" she asked, eyeing Holt. "A friend," Ethan said, his voice thick. "Someone who helped us." Holt tipped his hat to Lily, a small smile breaking through. "Keep those pine cones coming, kid." He turned to Ethan. "You're a good man, Caldwell. Don't forget it." As Holt drove away, Ethan stood with Lily, the deed in his hand, the cabin behind them. The wind was softer now, the sun breaking through the clouds. He didn't know what came next, how to make a life here, how to heal the years of hurt. But for the first time in a long time, he felt something like hope. He knelt, pulling Lily close. "What do you say, Bug? Want to make this our castle?" Her eyes lit up. "Forever. Forever," he said, and meant it. The cabin wasn't just wood and nails anymore. It was a promise, rebuilt by kindness, by humanity, by a stranger who saw a broke dad and gave him a chance to start again.